Welcome to the Freelance to Six Figures workshop, where I'll be teaching you how to grow your freelancing business to six figures in 2021. So, have you been wondering, how can I use my skills to start getting paid in USD? Are Fiverr and Upwork the only ways I can make money online with my skills? If I want to attract clients, where do I even start? Let me tell you why this class is important to you. You know your skills can get you paid. You just need to know how to package, price, and market your services to people who value the work that you do. You're ready for clients who won't try to haggle with you over your prices, will pay invoices on time, won't disappear when the work's done, or they won't overstep your boundaries. So, I'm Krista Forbes. I'm your instructor today. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. I graduated from Immaculate Conception High School. I'm a digital entrepreneur. I started my first company at 17 years old. I now own three online businesses, including my first, a coaching business, and a digital advertising agency that helps brands turn clicks into customers. So let me tell you why I'm hosting this class. I've been monetizing my skills and selling them online since I was 17 years old. I've always been fascinated by digital commerce and generating money online without selling physical products or doing way too much for not enough money. I thought it'd be really cool to teach other people what I've learned. So, officially, welcome to the Freelance to Six Figures workshop. Over the next 45 to 60 minutes, we're breaking down the three major keys to securing local and international clients who are willing to pay you what you're worth and willing to pay you your worth and growing your freelance business to six figures. So, over the course of this workshop, I'll also be explaining the three P's. So, the three P's are positioning, packaging, and promotion. So, let's dive right into positioning. So, I want you to stop and think for a second. What do you sell? And I want you to probably write it down just so you can track your progress at the end of this workshop. So, what do you actually sell? So, here's the thing. Most people sell services. Example, high quality graphic designs, breathtaking photographs, winning brand strategy. But here's what happens when you do that. You're really selling your time, labor, and sometimes experience. What happens when you do that? Your prices can be haggled based on time. You feel like you can lower your prices because it won't take that long to complete a task. You only increase your prices when you feel like you've gained enough experience. But here's what happens when you think that. You have to compete against thousands of other freelancers offering the exact same services, sometimes for dirt cheap. So you're probably wondering, how do I separate myself and charge prices that make sense with all the competition? So the answer is actually simple. It's positioning. What does that mean? So positioning is how you show up in the marketplace because how you show up is how clients will treat you. When you focus on positioning, you go from selling your time, labor, and experience to selling value, transformation, processes, and results. So here's a pro tip. Working with you should always be an investment. When you sell value, transformation, results, and processes, it's very difficult for people to say, I can find that for cheaper somewhere else. The truth is, they cannot find those things that only you can provide for cheaper elsewhere. If they try to, you should let them because they're not ready to invest, and those aren't the clients you should be working with anyway. And by invest, I mean invest in you, your expertise, and the value that you bring to the table. So here's the first lesson. The first key to growing your freelancing business to six figures is positioning yourself as an investment. Here's what happens when you do that. You set your prices, then find the people who are ready to invest and see results. You're more confident in the services you offer and less willing to overstep your professional boundaries. You can raise your prices to match the value you're bringing. So you're probably wondering, how do I even position myself as an investment? Here's how. Step one, decide who you are. So from this moment on, if you are a freelancer watching this, you are no longer a freelance photographer, a freelance copywriter, a freelance graphic designer, or even a digital marketer. Step two, decide who you serve. Step three, decide what you do. The easiest way to do all of these things is actually to pick a niche. So here's a little help. For the purpose of this class or this workshop, pick a single niche to complete the exercises. You can always change it later. So let's talk about deciding who you are. So if you're a freelance copywriter watching this, let's talk about some of the areas that you can actually choose a niche in. So if you're a copywriter, you can say, instead of being a copywriter, I'm going to specialize in becoming a website copywriter. If I'm a digital marketer, I'm going to specialize in becoming a growth strategist. If I'm a photographer, I'm going to specialize in becoming a brand photographer. If you're a branding strategist, you can focus on becoming a rebranding strategist. And if you're a graphic designer, you can focus on becoming a logo designer. So after you decide who you are, I want you to add some seasoning to it just to make it pop just a little bit more in the marketplace. So if you're a copywriter, you say, I'm a web copy architect. If you're a digital marketer, you can say, I'm a branding lieutenant. If you're a branding strategist, you can say, I'm an IG brand connoisseur. So let's talk about deciding who you serve a little bit more. So you decided who you are. Now we're going to talk about who you serve. So you're a website copywriter. You can become a website copywriter for salons. You can become, if you're a growth strategist, you can become a growth strategist for Instagram businesses. If you're a brand photographer, you can become a brand photographer for male entrepreneurs. If you're a rebranding strategist, you can become a rebranding strategist for realtors. If you're a logo designer, you can become a logo designer for beauty brands. So you see how all that is working. You see how we went from just I'm a graphic designer and I'm competing with a million people to now you're competing with very few people. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So now you have to decide what you do. So now if you're a web copy designer for salons, you say, I help salons grow their revenue and increase leads with web copy that sells. So now you've decided who you are and what you do and who you do it for. Now you're going to decide, okay, what exactly do I help people to do? So if you're a digital growth strategist for Instagram businesses, you say, I help IG businesses skyrocket sales and engagement with revenue generating marketing strategies. If you're a brand photographer for male entrepreneurs, you help male entrepreneurs level up their brands and grow their businesses with brand defining images. So essentially, you see what you're doing here. You're selling the end results. So you have to think about what happens after your client invests in you. So your turn. I want you to think about it. Who are you? Who do you serve and what do you do? So here are some examples of people who've positioned themselves very, very well. I do not know these people. I will say I just thought it would be great to take a look at them for the purpose of this class. So here's one person on Instagram. They're a retention strategist. The next person is a growth and marketing consultant. The next one is an IG content manager. The next one is a blogging content manager. The next one is a digital launch strategist. So here are some more examples of how these people say they help other people. So this person says, I help women like you build a highly profitable business by elevating their market, sales, and offer. So there, she's talking directly to her target audience. This next person says, I'm a coach for coaches, coaching that not only grows your business but changes your life. Here's somebody else who's actually a Jamaican wedding photographer. Here's somebody else who's a money mindset coach. I help millennials transform their money mindset to get clear on their goals and gain confidence in their business habits to fund their future. So here's the second lesson. The second key to growing your freelancing business to six figures is choosing a niche. So here's a pro tip. When you niche down, people know exactly who to come to when they need a particular service. It's easy to believe you'll make more if you offer more, but when you're good at everything, you're really good at nothing. People want to know what's the one thing you do well enough to be paid for it. People shouldn't be confused about whether or not they should come to you. If they have to ask, do you do dot, 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 you aren't conveying what you do well enough. Choosing a niche takes you from competing with thousands and maybe even sometimes millions, depending on the category that you're in, to competing with a handful of people. So let's recap. What did we learn? We learned that how you show up is how clients treat you. Clients have to see you as an investment, and the secret to standing out in a crowded market is picking a niche. So now let's talk about packaging. So most people think the more I offer, the more I'll make. What happens when you think that? You end up trying to serve every client that comes through the door. What happens when you do that? Or what happens when you think that? You end up trying to price out your services based on the project. This causes you time and most of the time, money. So here's a pro tip. You're not a fast food restaurant. You're a gourmet restaurant, okay? You give clients options and they take it or leave it. We don't customize, we don't negotiate. Standardize your offer. Create packages that you can present to your clients if they fit your ideal client profile. You're probably wondering, how do I even do that when there's so much I can offer? So here's how to create packages for your service. Step one, focus on mainly 1 to 3 packages only. Step two, standardize those packages. So here's a really quick example. If you are a web copywriter, here's package number one. In your package number one, you are going to only serve clients who want to build product page or a sales page. The next package is you would help clients who want to design full website copy. So in your package, it includes, you say, I'll collab with you and your team to create brand cohesive web copy that converts. This also includes 3 drafts, 1 revision, 1 hour copy consultation, and copy for 1 product. So now your packages are standardized. If somebody says, I want just a product page or a sales page, you say, that's fine. I'll collab with you and your team to create brand cohesive web copy that converts. This will include 3 drafts, 1 revision, 1 hour copy consultation, and copy for 1 product. So here's a pro tip. After working with the client, you can present a monthly package where they can get the same service every month at a favorable rate with a signed contract. This is how you secure long-term deals. So here are some of the benefits of standardizing your offer. You can charge extra money for any service your client would like to add. You spend less time creating quotes on a per project basis. You do the same work again and again and perfect your craft. If there is to be negotiations, you know where to start because you have a standard package. You get to set your prices and stick to it because they're standard. So you might be wondering, what if my standard offer doesn't work for a potential client? So you have 3 options. You can point them to someone else. If they'd like more than what you currently offer, then you can charge more. Or if they'd like less, you have the potential to say, hey, we can't work together. Or you can create a lower price package that offers less. Don't lower your prices without taking something off the table. What should we take away from this? Just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should. Create packages based on your ideal customers' needs, then go find your ideal customers. Standardizing your offer also makes it easier to figure out who your target audience is. If you're charging $1,000 for your service, you should be targeting people who can afford that. If you're super flexible in pricing, you have to cast your customer net wider, and that's not what we want to do. So creating packages pro tip. Instead of thinking about your final deliverables, think about the process and transformation. So example, I'll collaborate with your team to design copy that converts for your product's sales page, including max 1 product. So typically when people are selling their services, they say, okay, you'll get 5 photos, you will get 3 drafts, you'll get all of these things. Instead, what you're saying is the end result is that you'll collaborate with the team to design copy that converts for your product page. So quick tips for packaging. Check out how others in your industry package their offer and the language they use to sell their services until you find what works for you. Start with everything you typically offer as one big package, set the price, then start taking things away. Leave the price as is. Next, experiment. Lesson. Third key to growing your freelancing business to 6 figures is standardizing your offer, of course. So let's now recap. What did we learn? You're not a fast food restaurant, you're a gourmet restaurant. Standardizing your offer saves you time and money. Standardizing your offer makes it easier to find your ideal client. So quick tips for pricing. Get clear on what you do, who you serve, and what you're offering them price based on the value you bring to the table. Start with where you're comfortable and then add like 200 to 300 US or more. Chances are you are undercharging anyway. Experiment with pricing until you find your sweet spot. So here's a quick recap of what we've covered so far. We've covered choosing who you are, deciding who you serve, deciding what you do, packaging your offer, and now pricing your offer. So now let's go into part 3, promotion. This section, we're talking about people, content, and platforms. Instead of Fiverr and Upwork, I choose to use social media, but you can also use really cool platforms, e-commerce platforms, local e-commerce platforms that are in the market. Here's what most people think to get clients on. Here's what most people think. To get clients on social media, you have to be on all social media platforms. You have to be social media savvy. Your content has to be perfect. You have to have 10K followers. Here's what happens when you think that. You overwhelm yourself trying to manage your brand and promote on multiple platforms. You spend more time trying to gain followers than you do targeting your ideal client. You spend so much time trying to create the perfect pieces of content that you create nothing and never promote. So let's address this now. Yes, you have to promote. So here's a lesson. The fifth key to growing your freelance business to six figures is targeting the right people with the right content on the right platforms. What good is a bunch of followers if none of them are interested in what you offer? So let's talk about content. Your social media content should position you as someone who knows what they're doing and who can get results. The aim of your content is to get people to see your content. Get to see people Get people to see your content, want to know more about you and what you can possibly do for their business, and book a call with you to talk about your services. What type of content should you be sharing? Well, I have some examples, some standard examples. However, it really depends on your industry. So I definitely do a little bit more research. But the type number one that I typically share starts with educational content. Provide tips to your clients that can help them achieve their goals. Content examples. If you're a web copywriter, give tips about what web copy should achieve, major do's and don'ts. So most people think if you give away too much free content, then people won't pay. That's not true. You are the secret sauce and you bring way more to the table than what you're putting out as free content. So you might be wondering, then won't clients just do it themselves? Some might choose to, actually. That may cause them time and money in the process, though. So let them. It makes it that much easier to bring across your value if they eventually come back. So, what type of content should you be sharing? The next type of content I typically say is personal content. Give insight into who you are, what you're about, and what it's like to work with you. And when I say personal, I don't mean, let's just say, what you do on your weekends or what you do, you know, yeah, what you do on your weekends. That's not what we're talking about. We want to give the client insight into who you are. So share stories about your triumphs, share stories about your failures, share stories about what you're comfortable with. But essentially, for people to buy with you, they have to know you, like you, and trust you. So it's not enough sometimes to just say, hey, I offer these services. Sometimes in a crowded marketplace, what separates you from someone else is the fact that the client resonates with your story, believes in your story, and wants to work with you because of the story that you have. So, an example for this type of content is if you're a web designer, share the story about the time you changed a client's life by upgrading their website and what that experience was like for you personally. So, here's a pro tip. People don't do business with people. Sorry, people don't do business with businesses, they do business with people. What type of content should you be sharing? So, type number three is proof/receipts. Show people proof of what you've accomplished. Example testimonials and before and afters. Here's another pro tip. People will be more inclined to work with you if other people have worked with you and have seen results. Show off your results. Moving on to people. Once you've chosen your niche, you only need to focus on promoting your product/service to people who fit your target demographic. If your service is for entrepreneurs, you wouldn't target people who have 9 to 5s. If your services are for tattoo artists, you wouldn't target hairstylists. So here's a quick exercise. Based on your niche, who should you be targeting on social? So I actually want you to write that down. Who should you be targeting on social? Pro tip. 300 of 300 of the right followers can earn you way more than 10,000 of the wrong ones. So here's another pro tip. You don't need to be social media savvy to promote on social media. Pick the platforms that is most comfortable to you and find your audience there. You can also take the time to learn what you need to know about one platform and start there. So here are a few platform hacks. Instagram. Video content does well. Utilize the caption space. Really spend time crafting really cool captions that resonate with your audience and drive them to take action. It's really easy to find people in your niche, then follow the people they follow. Next, how to reach your ideal audience. Follow them, engage with them, and post your own content. Next, Facebook. Facebook groups are everything. There's literally a group for everything. Yes, people still use Facebook even if you don't, especially older audiences. How to reach your ideal audience on Facebook? Join Facebook groups in your niche and connect with people. Next, Twitter. Getting a lot of this platform is getting a lot of attention these days. So you have to be super authentic. So this platform is like super authentic. So it helps for you to be super authentic. So just be yourself and represent your brand and have direct conversation with potential clients. How to reach your ideal target audience on this platform? Follow them, engage with them, and of course, post content of your own relating to your niche. LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's way more professional. The content that works on IG is likely to work here. Use up your captions. Connect with people in your industry and people who would be your ideal client. So here's the final key to growing your freelancing business to six figures. It's promote, promote, promote. This isn't always shouting what you do from the rooftop. It can be sharing content relevant to your audience to capture their attention and engage them in conversation. You want to be the first person they think of when they need the services you provide. So let's recap. People do business with people. Your content should attract your ideal client and make them want to know more about you. You don't have to be social media savvy to gain clients on social. 300 of the right followers is better than 10,000 of the wrong ones. So here's a final recap. Tonight we talked about, or today we talked about defining what you do, packaging your services, targeting the right clients, and promoting your offer. Thank you. All the best.